Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LaBear's Casino. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan, TK, in Port Allen, Louisiana, at Court Street Cafe, right 5 minutes across the Mississippi River Bridge from downtown Baton Rouge. I'm at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and of course, we are presented by LaBear's Casino. LaBear's Casino. Um, I had a couple winning tickets over the weekend over at LeBear's. And of course, last night, everybody watching NFL, Major League Baseball, the World Series is set, Yankees, Dodgers, which is, you can't ask for anything better when it comes to ratings, when it comes to national exposure. You got the LA market, you got the New York market, and you got two of the most legendary franchises in baseball going at it. They'll start on Friday. And then also you got Japan, all of Japan excited for Ohtani playing in his first postseason. He's now in the World Series. So, I mean, this is the perfect global World Series for Major League Baseball, which will start on Friday. And the Dodgers, by the way, have home field advantage in that one. As far as LSU over the weekend, sends a message with an impressive win. They were locked in, they were focused, they took care of business, beat Arkansas handily on the road, and then all the chips fell right for them to where now you've got the two undefeated SEC teams facing off next week. And LSU, the Tigers find themselves an underdog on the road at A&M, and will be the national game to watch. And of course, first place at stake and an inside track to at Georgia. If LSU wins, now then they get a week off, and then they get Alabama at home. I mean, it is set up for them to have success in November. If LSU goes and takes care of A&M, that's a big if, and will be a massive game. Tickets are crazy expensive, and looking forward to that. And then, of course, the Saints did not play over the weekend. They played on Thursday. They didn't play over the weekend. But you're telling me, Tommy, that the Saints might have some good news this week?
Well, Dennis Allen said Derek Carr, they expected him back week 8. Well, this is week 8. He didn't say against the Chargers. So I guess as the week goes on, when we get those injury reports and Allen meets with the media, we may get more information on that. But the Chargers are 7.5 point favorites. It's a 3 o'clock kick out on the West Coast, 3 o'clock Louisiana time. So I don't know. I think they need Derek Carr. I don't know how much it'll help, but we'll have to follow that this week, and of course, we'll keep you posted here on Sports Shorts Daily.
I don't know who Derek Carr would throw to, and I don't know who would block for Derek Carr. So I don't know how much of it would help. But definitely the line would be adjusted if he does. If he's named the starter, you're going to see that line swing by a half a point or point for sure. Saints might be a 6.5 point dog versus a 7.5 point dog or something like that. But I will tell you, take the Chargers. Whatever you got, take the. And listen, I mean, nothing is 100% in gambling, but
No.
if you bet against the Saints the rest of the way, the next 10 games, don't even look at the spread. Just hold your nose, put your money down on whoever the Saints are playing. I think you're going to win more than you're going to lose. I really believe that. I think this is Tank City is about to happen. I mean, there's nothing to play for. They're going to be eliminated from playoff contention at some point before their season's over with. They're decimated with injuries. Everybody knows the coaching staff is going to be gone. They're going to be playing for the first pick in the draft. Like they are going to mail this in, and they're going to become the Carolina Panthers. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders continue to roll. They won in dominant fashion, 40-7 yesterday. They are the surprise story of the year, no question about it. But Jaden Daniels only threw two passes, left the game with a little rib injury. Did return to the sidelines. It doesn't look like it's something super serious. But Marcus Mariota filled in. He looked like Jaden Daniels 2.0, and the Commanders just dominated the Panthers, who again may not win a game the rest of the year, but or at least the Saints and the Panthers will play. Somebody's going to win. The rest will lose them all. But that was a little scary for Jaden Daniels there early on.
Yeah, a little rib injury, and like you said, Mariota did a great job. And the early report is they think he'll be okay to play next week. 75% is what they called it. So that's going to get monitored all week and talked about for sure. But you're right. The Commanders are truly the story of the season.
As much as we want to talk about everybody else, and as much as the Kansas City Chiefs have sort of morphed as a franchise, they just continue to roll. They went over, they put 28 points on the board, the most they've scored in 16 games, and they win in San Francisco, a replay of the Super Bowl. And it doesn't matter who um, uh, is around with the Chiefs. As long as you got Mahomes and Andy Reid, you're going to win.
Yeah, well, they've had some injuries, and the 49ers don't have receivers. Samuel didn't play, got sick before the game. Ayuk apparently tore an ACL a couple of plays into the game. So both of those teams were a little banged up. I saw a good bit of that game yesterday, and, Mahomes is Mahomes. I mean, that's all you can say about that. And the Chiefs are the only undefeated team in the NFL with the Vikings losing to the Lions yesterday.
By the way, the Devontae Adams Aaron Rodgers combination, at least game one, didn't spark any magic. It was the least amount of 30 yards on 9 targets. Adams was targeted 9 times, 3 completions, 30 yards. The Jets lose again, and so who knows what's going to happen there? The Jets are quickly coming upon a situation where I think they're 2-5, if
Correct.
I'm correct. Same record as the Saints, although they've got a little more hope. But the bottom line is that this is a mess of a situation that the Jets are in. They're all in, by the way. They've traded. They're all in. Um, but let's talk about the LSU Tigers, Tommy. I was nervous about LSU as far as what they would do uh, on the road at Arkansas, a trap game coming off of the Ole Miss situation. But I mean, this was, even though this isn't a great Arkansas team, don't get me wrong, this is a capable Arkansas team. They were coming off of a bye, just beating Tennessee, who, of course, Tennessee beat Alabama. I mean, it's unbelievable. This team beat that team, beat that team. Anybody can beat anybody, it seems, in the SEC. But it was impressive that they were so businesslike.
They were. I mean, they got it done. I was 3 for 3 Saturday with my picks, so LSU was one of them. So that went good. But no, they got it done and they ran the football. It's amazing how when you run the football, things seem to work out. And in Arkansas battled, but they've had some injuries, just like LSU's had injuries, and probably way too many penalties. And Brian Kelly talked about that after the game. But it was loud up there. But you still in the 7th week of the season, you can't have all them penalties that they had. They knew it was going to be allowed. You have to have a plan for that. But anyway, they bottom line, they got it done on the road in the conference. Okay, they're back home and they got the biggest game that they've had in a long time is this coming Saturday night. But they took care of business against Arkansas. I agree with you. Arkansas is a capable team. I mean, they beat Tennessee. Tennessee just beat Bama. I mean, come on. I mean, it's craziness this year. But you got to credit LSU, the whole team, for getting it done and getting back home. They take that ugly trophy back to Baton Rouge, and then now it's all about the Aggies and A&M. 6:30 Saturday night on ABC. It'll be the game of the weekend, no question about it, because the winner is in sole possession of first place in the SEC. Sole possession.
Um, Speaking of Alabama, I, we knew that, and we joked for years that as soon as when's Saban going to retire? When's Saban going to retire? Because then all of a sudden Alabama can come back to the mix like mere mortals. It's here. It's official. It's happened. I mean, and we thought, and Matt Moscona talked a lot about it on AFR in the off season. Pointed it out and kind of made fun of, how, Alabama, was burning. But we saw chinks in the armor. We saw players transferring. We saw recruits decommitting, and things that just did not happen really. Under Nick Saban for 15 years, and those things started to happen immediately as soon as he retired, and it's already caught up to him. I mean, there's no way that Saban's losing at Vanderbilt, and he's surely not losing at Vanderbilt and at Tennessee in the same way. He's not giving up 30 points or whatever in the second half to Georgia. Like it's amazing how quickly this program Still a good one. Still lots of talent. How quickly it's coming back to the pack and just being one of the upper echelon programs and not the dog.
Well, here's the thing. First time they've lost 2 games before November since Saban's first year. All right, there's 134 D1 football teams, or FBS, whatever we call it. They're 132nd in penalties. And then, Ronnie, the thing that's been all over social media, did you see the play? And Alabama had like a fourth and one, and they were going for it. And the two receivers that were out to the right, they tried a quarterback sneak or the tush push, whatever. And the two receivers faked like basketball shots. Did you see that video? I don't think that happens when Saban's the coach. And this team, Anthony Gallo, who owned the Cadillac Cafe forever, did tons of work with me on podcasts and radio, and you know him well. He's the biggest Alabama fan in the world. He said this team has no character. I mean, the penalties and it's easy to say now, but it's like it's missing the dictatorship of Nick Saban, and that you're going to do things a certain way. And Saban got out for obvious reasons, NIL transfer portal. Tony Bennett, a national championship basketball coach at Virginia 5 years ago, got out for the same reason, because it's not the same game those guys came to be. But Alabama, they're going to come to Baton Rouge in a couple of weeks. Geez, it's easy to coach on Monday morning. I get it, but I think they got some work to do.
Here's the thing. We talk a lot about NIL and how things have changed and yada yada on this show. And I want to be clear for the if anyone's, I do not blame the players. It's not, I don't blame a 19-year-old kid for transferring every semester and getting as much money as you can. It is the system. The grown-ups have not taken care of the rules. The grown-ups have lost control of the situation, and now it's the Wild Wild West. And the coaches that do have the ability, that have been around for years and have millions of dollars and have a choice, are like, I'm not putting up with this crap. I'm not going to put up with a 18, 19-year-old kid not wanting to listen to me, or I got to worry about disciplining him or being too hard because he might transfer on me. There's only a handful of coaches that have that ability, right? But that is what everybody wants to be, the cool guy. Everybody wants to be the cool coach. And that example that you point out, where the Alabama players the wide receivers take a step back and act like they're shooting because they assume he's going to get the first down, right? He's going to jump over the top and get the first down, and he gets stuffed. And so they've got egg on their face. The coaches have egg on their face because of it. That's just a microcosm of what's going on now, because, the dictator coach, as you call it, sports needs discipline. Doesn't matter the sport, and they don't have it.
I agree 100%. They're not the only team, but they're one of the teams like that right now. And, it's time for them to look in the mirror and their coaching staff to try to figure it out and, eliminate penalties and, stop the foolishness. And, they still got a lot of good football players on that team, but they're not a good team right now. That could, but in part because they don't have that discipline that's needed to be a good team and or to be a great team.
By the way, Tommy, I'm going to let the listeners in on a little secret. I am at an undisclosed location. I am in West Palm Beach, Florida. I am here for the Summer Baseball Summit. Casey McKenzie is flying in as we speak. I got here yesterday. It's a summit that has a number of summer college baseball teams like myself and the Rougarou, the Baton Rouge Rougarou. People from all over the country. There's some guest speakers, and it's sort of, you learn best practices and different things going on, and kind of like the minor league baseball world, how to do better at this, that, and the other. And so we'll be here until Wednesday evening, and then we'll fly back. And so hopefully we pick up some good stuff that we can use in Rougarou land. By the way, we do have an announcement that we will make probably on Friday. We'll probably make the announcement on Friday, or maybe we'll wait till next Monday. I'm not quite sure. But we do have a new coach in 2025. We have a brand new head coach, and there was a guy who was a heck of a player. So we'll tell you about him probably on Friday's show, and then we'll make the announcement official on Monday and have him as a guest on our show on Monday.
Without the details, was he who I thought he was?
Well, it's a New Orleans guy. I'll tell you that.
But I mean, the connection I told you that might have been.
I can't remember our conversation, Tommy. Honestly, million connections. But I'll say Kirk Bollinger was the guy I was telling you about with Kirk Bollinger. His
Yeah,
recommendation.
no, I know who you're talking about. I
And
just
so,
we'll figure it out later in the week.
uh, I know what you're asking. If his father was the guy, I didn't. I never asked. I forgot to ask.
Okay.
Um, but anyway, we're excited about that. James Dillard was our coach last summer. We wanted to have James Dillard back in 2025. He chose not to return. He's a high school coach over in Texas, and his family and all was too far away. They just didn't get to see each other enough or get over here enough. We consider James Dillard a part of the family, and hope he'll hang on as a consultant if need be. But that was his choice not to return. He's not going to coach summer ball this summer. But we're excited about our new coach and the energy and enthusiasm he brings to our team, and which is much needed when you play 62. You play 48 games in 62 days. You need someone that's got the little juice, and we'll have that with him. So we'll tell you about that later on. But anyway, over here at West Palm, and it was raining a little bit yesterday and this morning. The sun just started coming out, and
Which courses are you playing? I've been to West Palm a lot. There's like 108 golf courses in Palm Beach County.
I'm actually going to hit a few balls this morning with Louis Garcia and a couple friends at one of these courses that Tiger Woods and PGA put into. It's a public course. They played that. Remember, Tiger played here like when the Challenge or something with Rory and all, like a year ago.
Okay.
It's an old municipal course that they fixed up real nice, called the Park at West Palm, and it got totally renovated. And so we're going to play that, and that's it. That's my only round. Conference starts this afternoon, so we're going to get going with that. But anyway, one final thing before we get out of here
Well,
today, uh, the World Series. Do you have a
well,
team?
you mentioned the history of these two teams. This is the first time they're playing in a World Series since 1981. They last met in a World Series in 1981. You got West Coast, East Coast, two major markets. You got Otani, you got Aaron Judge, you got Aaron Boone's first trip to the World Series as Yankee manager. They've come up short a bunch. So you got a bunch of days. It doesn't start till Friday, so we got a bunch of days to get the build up, kind of like the Super Bowl, the build up and the hype and all the side stories. And a few guys that are nicked up can maybe get a little bit better. So yeah, World Series starts Friday night in LA, and I'm looking forward to it. Obviously,
Who you pulling for? Yankees or Dodgers?
boy, it's tough. I don't know. I kind of been a Yankee fan a lot in my life, and got to meet Billy Martin and have dinner with him many years ago. But the Dodgers, I like both managers. I like Dave Roberts and I like Aaron Boone, and I've always been a follow the manager guy or follow a coach guy at the professional level. So I like both managers a whole lot. And there's a lot of good baseball players on both teams, and everybody thought halfway through the season they might meet in the World Series, but when the playoffs started, it was kind of like anybody had a chance, and Cleveland and Detroit's pitching would it emerge and all that stuff. But hey, it's Yankees, Dodgers, East Coast, West Coast, major markets. Dodgers with the home field advantage. Games 1, 2, if necessary, 6, 7 are in LA. So you got at least 2 games in New York, maybe 3. And we'll talk about it more on Wednesday and Friday on Sports Shorts Daily.
I used to be more of a National League guy before, all the, now there's really no division in baseball, but it used to be the National League, American League never played each other at all until the World Series. So I was more a National League guy, but I've always had a soft spot for the Yankees going back to the Ron Guidry, Goose Gossage days. So Reggie Jackson, loved all those guys. So I'm pulling for the Yankees in this one. Uh, I hope they bring it home, but it's not going to kill me if the Dodgers win. By the way, we didn't really mention when we were talking to LSU about Weeks, the linebacker. Unbelievable what's going on with him. He needs to be in the Heisman in the Heisman conversation. The laugh, the
Well,
laugh.
he has made a difference. There's no question.
Isn't it interesting? And I'm not saying that the Porter injury, but sometimes when a guy like Porter, who's super talented, you don't
Perkins.
quite know where to put him and all that. What's that?
Perkins.
Perkins. I'm sorry, I'm saying Porter. Perkins. Sometimes it just clears things up. It simplifies things. People know their roles better. They know their expectations. There's a sense of urgency. Um, you simplify your defense. Maybe you don't try to get as fancy. They changed their defensive scheme, said three linebackers, two. And it's clearly made a difference, and excited about the direction of this defense the rest of the way, provided those 10 and weeks stay healthy. All
Yeah.
right, tell us about Court Street Cafe as we get out of here.
Hey, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 7 days a week. Steak night on Saturday nights. This famous Sunday brunch, full service bar here. Connect with them on Facebook and Instagram. It's a great way to keep up with Jason and the staff here at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Nice patio out front. Had some people sitting there having breakfast this morning in this beautiful weather. Look, it's only a couple of minutes over the Mississippi River Bridge. You're working in downtown Baton Rouge, you can get here about as quick as you can get anywhere. Court Street Cafe, 805 Court Street in Port Allen. If you keep up with them on social media, you'll see the lunch specials, the dinner specials, the weekly specials, live music from time to time. You really need to check out Court Street Cafe. We hope you'll do that soon. Hey, don't forget to like and share this show. We appreciate everybody watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Appreciate the comments today as well. Can't always get to all the comments, but we appreciate that. So like and share this show. We're back Wednesday morning for another episode of Sports Shorts Daily. We hope to see you then. Have a wonderful day.